Well, salute, West. Duke Sims, the Don. And we here today with the content. We kind of early. I know everybody used to the later, but I'm still not feeling well. And we got an update on a brother that means a lot to me. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Big U, free him until it's spelled backwards. You know what I'm saying? I understand that, J Big. Salute, King. Appreciate your support anyway. You know what I'm saying? Y'all hit that like button on y'all way in. Somebody please text y'all. Tell him as soon as he can, he could join. In the meantime, in between time, while y'all getting up in here until y'all share that thing, let's get into some of this y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? I guess y'all act like y'all don't know what's going on. My boy done dropped one, you know what I'm saying? He done dropped one, the anthem, you know, explicit, you know what I'm saying? Make sure you get the one with all the cursing. You gotta have that feeling, you know. Great music leaves a feeling with you, you know what I'm saying? I don't think y'all appreciate them high notes we hitting. Maybe because he's using the auto tune.
I'm a day one from my
section. Let's start to 125, and I'm gonna start the content. So let's try that. You know what I'm saying? We can turn that off, right? And yeah, salute to everybody. Let's turn that off. Boom. Salute to everybody in the chat. Let's hit that like button. Get that up. You know what I'm saying? A lot of y'all don't know. I'm sick as hell. My throat is on fire. You know what I'm saying? But Maria on her way back home right now. She's coming to make me some stuff. But before then, I know when I take another one of them pills, I'm gonna go to sleep again. So since I know I'm gonna be going to sleep, I'm trying to get this out now. And this is somebody that's important. I was not letting y'all alone. Hold on. Somebody who important to the whole team, man. Big U. He's a member of the Damu Kiwe Conversation podcast, working with us as he was expanding his media outlet. He has multiple media companies, uniquemusic.com, as well as the You Find It app. And y'all be hearing more about that. Just because he in jail, we ain't going to stop the business. You know what I'm saying? We going to find a way to keep pulling it together so that he can have some money generating out here, which would also help him in vindicating himself for those allegations. And let's be clear, those are only allegations. It says that in the indictment. So if the indictment is telling you that those is only allegations, I don't know how everybody else find a way to convict a nigga before he goes to trial. And even the real enemy, this government, give you what they call due process. You know what I'm saying? Bro, all I want to know is what happened at court. The music is trash, bro. Hey, Bo 90, I'm glad that you said that. Could you go on that video? It's called Yael, featuring Joe Moses and Coyotes. And please go on there, Bo 90, and tell them that music was trash. It's called Sections by Yael. And leave a comment. We really appreciate your comment, whether you like it or don't. You know, I had 2.2 million views on a song before, right? A smash hit that people love till today. And I learned a long time ago then, every song ain't going to be for everybody. And I learned to appreciate criticism from people who might not necessarily like my flow or my genre of hip hop. But we would feel a lot better if you showed some support still with such a comment, and go let Yael and them know that wasn't the type he was from. Maybe his next song will be a little bit different style, and maybe you'll like that one. So just stay in tune, man. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of y'all, Bomani, one of the brothers. Go ahead. What up? Hey, y'all, I'm finna start the content because I'm still messed up, right? But
man, salute, brother.
Some dude in the chat didn't like Sections, and it was an anthem. I don't get it, but I do get that I got about 500 thumb down on my video on the Hit Your Bremen, which was a classic. So there's always going to be those. Maybe they do it because they don't like themselves. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe they really just don't like that type of music. You know what I'm saying? But in any event, the least he could do is go over there, hit the dislike song, and leave a comment. You know? Show us you're not a hater, that you're just being genuine. You know what I'm saying? What you got going on, y'all?
You know where I'm at.
You on the plantation or you off today?
I'm not. I'm working, but at any rate, they know where they at. If y'all don't know,
we can barely hear you, bro.
Can you hear me now?
A little bit better, but you sound kind of far off.
Hold on, man. What's going on with this? What about now, Deuce?
Yeah, we can hear you, but it's just not the same. You know, usually we hear Yael, you know what I'm saying, and it's
louder. Is it?
There it
loud
go,
now?
right there. Yeah, now you on.
There we go. Well, listen, if y'all don't know, you about to know now. You're in one of the hottest lives on YouTube right now with Deuce M's the Don and Yael the Kiwe pop star, the authentic voices of the culture in the West Coast. Damu Kiwe Conversation. And salute to the chat. You already know that's where it's at. Salute to the mods that's on their job, and salute to the friends that tapped in. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to this content. Y'all see the title, Big U Barrel Hearing. WACK100 is a he's a witness. I told you guys that he's going to tell. He's going to tell on you.
On you. On you.
You gotta bring it down, dude. You're like, on you.
You made my throat hurt, bro.
Hey, man,
you made me laugh too hard, but you know I'm still under the weather and my throat is sore. Sharon, what up, bro?
Oh, man.
So let's get into this, man. We have 160. Everybody that just came in, hit that like button, man. Show some support. If I could bring y'all this while I'm under the weather and they'll get through that, man, the least y'all can do is hit that like button. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to this one first. So, damn, what the heck? Close. All right, so here we go right here. Let me show y'all what this is. Bam. My News LA, and the title is Rap Godfather. Big U expected to ask judge to be released from custody. All right? So this is what we're going to get into the paperwork about this, but this is the article. Alleged Los Angeles gang kingpin and so-called rap godfather Eugene Henley Jr., known as Big U, is expected to ask a judge Tuesday to be released from custody pending trial on allegations of racketeering, fraud, extortion, and embezzlement. Henley, 58, was also allegedly linked to the 2021 killing of an aspiring rapper in Las Vegas, according to federal prosecutors. On a 43-count indictment filed last month in Los Angeles federal court charges Henley with a single count of conspiracy to violate the Racketeering, Influence, and Corrupt Organizations Act. That's the acronym for Rico, along with multiple counts of robbery, extortion, wire fraud, and embezzlement, among other crimes. U.S. Magistrate Judge Joel Ricklin is scheduled Tuesday to hear arguments for and against Henley's release from pretrial detention. Prosecutors are expected to argue that the defendant would present a threat to the community, the victims, and witnesses if allowed to go free. Efforts to reach Henley's attorney were unsuccessful. Prosecutors wrote a memorandum in support of detention that for decades, Henley has put on a public facade masquerading as a reformed gang member and legitimate businessman whose only ambition was to better his community, but defendant wasn't helping Crenshaw, he was helping himself. I wonder how this is going to go over on all of the people who he had an influence on their life. When the prosecutor reaches to try to make a point that they definitely will be seeing as a lie. Because you could say that he help the Crenshaw community and say that he and lead them to believe and present evidence that he still did a crime. But what you can't do is rewrite history and say it didn't help the Crenshaw community. But the documents continue in the shadows. Defendant was secretly operating as kingpin of a criminal enterprise that has ruled Los Angeles through violence, fear, and intimidation. Now, he seeks pretrial release under the guise of his reformed persona, even though his criminal activities have included murder, extortion, robbery, wire fraud, bank fraud, and human trafficking. The court should see through defendant's farce and keep him in custody for the safety of the community. Before he surrendered to authorities, the self-described anti-gang activist from the South LA community of Hyde Park posted videos on Instagram denying any wrongdoing. I'm looking at all these charges in the news, he said. I'm headed back to LA. Ain't going to be no real evidence. Ain't going to be no real nothing. Now they're saying all that stuff to assassinate my character. Tell them, Big U. According to federal prosecutors, Henley is a leader of the Rolling 60s neighborhood Crips and runs a vast mafia-like organization that has committed crimes, including murder, trafficking, and COVID fraud. 6 others allegedly linked to the case were also arrested. Federal prosecutors contend Henley killed Las Vegas rapper Rayshawn Williams in January 2021, saying the victim, who had been signed by Henley's unique music record label, had recorded a defamatory song about the rap entrepreneur. Henley allegedly killed him, then dragged the victim's body off Interstate 15 in Las Vegas and left it in a ditch, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. Henley is also accused of defrauding famous athletes, including Basketball Hall of Famer and former Lakers center Shaquille O'Neal and Golden State Warriors 4-time All-Star forward Draymond Green by persuading them to donate money to charity, cash that he allegedly pocketed himself. In addition, Henley is accused of fraudulently obtaining funding for the gang reduction and youth development program supervised by the LA Mayor's Office. That's the GRID, for those who didn't catch on. Authorities also allege Henley submitted a fraudulent application for a COVID-19 pandemic relief loan in which he claimed that Unique Music was operating at a $200,000 profit in 2019, despite operating at a $5,000 loss that year, which should have disqualified it from loan eligibility. According to an affidavit filed with the criminal complaint from 2010 to the present, Henley's Big U enterprise operated as a mafia-like organization that utilized Henley's stature and long-standing association with the Rolling 60s and other street gangs to intimidate businesses and individuals in Los Angeles. Henley is widely regarded as a leader within the Rolling 60s and rose to prominence in the street gang during the 1980s. Henley was instrumental in launching the career of the late Los Angeles rapper Nipsey Hussle, who was shot to death in South Los Angeles in 2019. He served 13 years in prison for trying to steal cocaine from an undercover sheriff deputy in 1991. His son, Dayon Henley, is a linebacker entering his second season with the LA Chargers. If convicted, Henley could face a sentence of hundreds of years in prison, prosecutors noted. So let's go ahead and get to this paperwork. That's the news article. And now we finna get into the actual paperwork. Let's get into the chat first before we do all of that. Let's see what people is vibing off that. We got a super chat already, y'all.
1 second, brother. Let me go ahead and read that to you.
Appreciate that.
Man, we got Drew V with the $20 super chat. Get some Therafool and rest, Do Sims. That's advice from your brother, Drew V, to go ahead and drink that tea. Hey, man, anything and everything that's given to the Damu Kiwe Conversations is highly appreciated. Blessings to you, your family, and your tribe, Drew V. And he sips the Theraflu. There you go.
Yeah, I got some Theraflu pills, but as soon as I take them, they knock me out. I've been asleep 3 times today already, right? So I know as soon as I take the next one, I'm gonna be out and wouldn't be able to do the live tonight. But thank you for the advice. But I'll sleep when I die. You know what I'm saying? The work of the people. Huh. That's what I'm here for, man. Salute to everybody in the chat. What it do, bang screw? You know what I'm saying? True V, look at Miss Lisa. You know what I'm saying? She got the stripes. You know what I'm saying? But let's get into this content. Yael, do you feel like reading? Please tell me you feel like reading.
Okay, you got to give me 1 second because I'm at the plantation, brother.
Oh yeah, so yeah, that might be a hard thing. Do we got any volunteers? Let's do this like elementary school. You know what I'm saying? Do we have any volunteers that want to help assist the Damu and Kiwe? It's a team. It's teamwork. Assist the Damu and Kiwe today with a little bit of reading, since I'm a little up under the weather, and we want some people that can read. If you went to LAUSD school, Los Angeles Unified School District, you're disqualified. You know what I'm saying? They can have some good ones. Let me take that back. You know what I'm saying? They have some good ones, man. Some of y'all can't read. You know what I'm saying? So we definitely gonna do that. I just dropped the link. If we got any volunteers that want to help, because Yael was gonna do it to assist me, but he's at the plantation, and the last thing we want to do is unsettle the plantation. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we got Chat Killer in the building. Big Messy Mar. Salute. I see y'all on Clubhouse. Shout out to everybody on Clubhouse that came through to support, man. You know what I'm saying? Let me go ahead and get you.
Can I say something real quick?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Yael is not at school. He just can't read. He ain't at school or work. He can't read, bro.
Hey, don't be putting my brother out.
I'm gonna say it to his face too. When he
Hey, OG Soldier. Hey, when I come out there, you better have that same energy. You understand me? I know who you are, homie. Hey, look, I ain't running from you.
I heard that fuck boy, the Crater Face was at the court today. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Crater Face, speaking of people running.
Wait, he went to the court for Big U?
Him, the Crip Cop, and Crackhead Eddie. I look
Are
forward
you serious?
to seeing him. Yeah, we got the beautiful Selena up here. Let me send this to Selena.
Yeah,
So she can have it herself. You know what I'm saying? Selena, you're such an angel. You know what I'm saying?
We appreciate you, Selena.
I don't believe all the shit that Messy Marvin y'all tell me bad about you. You know?
Believe it, it's all true.
Yeah, you know,
Every
Selena, she's
single bit
horrible.
about it.
You know, no.
Every single bit about it. It's true. I don't know why you guys are lying.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, it's so small.
Bro.
No. I'm finna send you the
email it to me.
Email, or could I send it to your phone?
Hey, dude, is that Selena? Is that Selena on stage?
Yeah.
Email it to me.
Is that her?
Yeah, that's her.
Shit, she on stage. Fuck.
Yeah, why don't you exit stage?
Nah, I can't do that, player.
Uh-huh.
I know
the stage. How's everything going with you today, Selena?
Oh, okay. Let me shut up.
Good. How are you?
I'm good, man. You know where I'm at.
The plantation.
I'm here so I don't get fired.
Selena C22,
right?
Real.
Yeah, Selena C22. Well, yeah, thanks for giving my email out.
Oh, it's not allowing it to go that way.
Why?
I don't know, but it definitely not. It goes to a type of file that
is it PDF?
I don't know if it's PDF, but I know for a fact maybe she'll be able to send it to herself. Yes, it is PDF, but it wasn't allowing. I send PDFs through my Gmail all the time.
You just texted her, right?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yes. Hit that like button. We got the beautiful Selena in the building. Hold on, let me take this off so everybody can see her.
Hey, Lamonte. Hey, we got Belina in the. Hey, Belina, I told you what to do. Hey, now look, Belina. Hey, I'm gonna send you my IG. What I
No.
want you to do, I want you to go ahead and make it wiggle, because I got something for you.
Absolutely not.
Oh,
Not for you, not ever.
You gonna
No,
do it. You gonna
I'm
do it
not.
you gonna do it for the back. You gonna
No.
do it for the backside.
My
Yeah.
fingers would never touch your ass. You're disgusting.
Hey, shut the fuck up and do what I asked you
No,
to do.
you shut the fuck up. I'm not gonna do it.
Okay, I like a little dominance, but guess what?
Mwah.
When I get you bent over, I'm gonna
You
get them.
hurt my throat. Don't make me laugh like that, bro. God.
We're gonna make you laugh even more.
Nigga said, I like that dominance. Hey, hold on, everybody on Clubhouse. 1 second. I gotta take this call. Hold on.
Oh yeah, now.
What up?
Hey,
What up? I'm like,
guess what, Belita? You up here with me by yourself. Who gonna help you? Because Deuce Sims can't do shit. He can't do diddly squat.
Who's gonna help you? You gotta learn how to help yourself. You're a mess.
What
Nobody
you
like
mean?
you. No, nobody
what
like
you
you.
mean?
And nobody like you.
Belina, you like me, don't
No,
you?
not at all. Not even a little bit. Can't stand you. Everything about you disgusts me. Your face is disgusting. Your body's disgusting. The way you talk. I mean, damn, I don't think I've ever hated anyone as much as I hate you.
Oh my goodness, you're so evil.
I
Oh my
am.
gosh.
I don't know why people think I'm nice. I'm not nice. I say it a million times.
You know
I'm
what?
not nice.
I'm
I'm not.
gonna go back to my regular voice. I don't like
Go
this.
do
I don't
that.
like this person. I don't like this person right here.
You don't like who? Who, me?
You ran CF2 back off.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, okay.
That's talent.
Make sure we're on the same page.
They said, what's all the scratching? Did you get the thing, Selena? Belina?
Belina. Oh my.
Blood, did you get
I got it.
the board vapors?
The board vapors.
Get the board vapors,
Hey,
blood.
Belina. I know Lamonte sent the board vapors over there because you are Damu Blood Rat. You're not a
Wow. I heard it all. I heard it all.
He called her a
Belina.
blood rat. Not a criblet, but a blood rat. All right, let's get to it.
Okay. All right, we starting? Oh my
Yes.
God. Okay. Ready. Plaintiff, United States of America, by and through its Counsel of Record, the United States Attorney for the Central District of California, and Assistant United States Attorney Kevin J. Butler and Jenna A. McCabe hereby files its brief in support of detention for defendant Eugene Henley Jr., also known as AKA Big Yo. Sorry. Why is it not doing this?
I gotta bring it up.
Hold on.
You said what?
There we go. Sorry. Unc, aka Draws, aka Hannibal, aka Hannibal Muhammad, aka Anybody Killer, aka Dave Austin. My God, they got every AKA for him, huh? This brief is based upon the attached memorandum of points and authorities, the files and records in this case, and such further evidence and argument as the court may permit. Introduction. For decades, defendant Eugene Henley Jr., also known as Big U, defendant has put on a public facade masquerading as a reformed gang member and legitimate businessman whose only ambition was to better his community. But defendant wasn't helping Crenshaw, he was helping himself. In the shadows, defendant was secretly operating as kingpin of a criminal enterprise that has ruled Los Angeles through violence, fear, and intimidation. Now he seeks pretrial release under the guise of his reform persona, even though his criminal activities include murder, extortion, robbery, wire fraud, bank fraud, and human trafficking. The court should see through defendant's farce and keep him in custody for the safety of the community. To avoid custody, defendant will no doubt continue his double dealing as he did to celebrities and donors that he duped into believing they were helping young, underprivileged athletes chase their dreams, when in reality they were unwittingly lining defendant's pockets as he embezzled donations after donations. Man, that sounds like so like personal. Even in his short term in custody, he is up to his old tricks once again, trying to use some of those same celebrities for his personal gain. He has even suggested that he can manipulate the president of the United States inter, into intervening in this case and dropping the charges, even as he simultaneously derisively refers to the president as the Orange Man while in custody. This court should not be fooled.
Wait. Hold on, Selena, 1 second.
Yeah,
Wait.
go ahead.
So the assistant U.S. attorney is arguing to the court that Big U is connected with Agent Orange. I'm talking about Donald Trump himself. So they saying Big U gonna get out, but he gotta wear a MAGA hat. Huh? Sorry, I had to get that one out. I guess it's just real easy to manipulate the president of the United States. This shit crazy. Yeah, pardon the interruption. You know what I'm saying?
This court should not be fooled by the good deeds defendant promises to accomplish if only he could choose the detention doors behind him. The truth is that he will undoubtedly cause exponential harm to the case, to the community, and to others if he were released. Defendant should remain detained for the safety of the community, the victims, and witnesses in this case. In defendant's own words, if I would have had a problem with any man, the issue would have been resolved and he wouldn't be here or I wouldn't be here. And for the hope of some semblance of justice for the families of his victims. Indeed, with seemingly just hours of notice of his impending arrest, defendant has already destroyed valuable evidence, attempted to paint a false narrative of his criminality in the public, and publicly condemned his enemies by name. He cannot be allowed to continue on his obstructive path. Any supporter defendants may offer as sureties will not protect the community. They did not have R.W., whom defendant murdered and abandoned in the desert. They did not save defendants' countless extortion and embezzlement victims who defendant terrorized or tricked for years. They did not stop defendant from leaving Los Angeles in the midnight hours before his arrest or hurling thinly veiled threats in the lead up to his surrender. This court should have no trouble finding that defendant represents a danger and risk of non-appearance, non-compliance with court orders that cannot be adequately mitigated through release and conditions. With the utmost respect to pretrial services, pretrial supervision is not enough. For the sake of the community, defendant should remain in custody. Statement of facts. Defendant is a dedicated rolling 60 leaders of his violent racketeering enterprise. Defendant is an avowed, famed member of the Rolling 60s neighborhood Crips street gang. As early as 1992, the Los Angeles Times described defendant as the leader of that gang, and little has changed as defendant has aged. He states in many interviews when asked about any gang tattoos, it ain't on you, it's in you. Indeed, defendant's gang ties run deep in his blood. Defendant has loudly recounted the terror he instilled for years. In various interviews, defendant recounts selling narcotics, taking a percentage of illegal activity in the neighborhood, leading the body snatchers, kidnapping crew, body snatchers, kidnapping crew, and eventually going to prison where he immediately claims to have paid off guards and taken a percentage of drug sales. Now, after an investigation spanning more than 4 years, defendant was charged with running the Big U enterprise from at least 2010 until his arrest, which often used the Rolling 60s as muscle in his criminal activities. Specifically, defendant often assisted by Rolling 60s or other members and associates of the Big U enterprises use intimidation, fear, violence, threats of violence, assault, extortion, and murder in the streets for power and profit. Through the media, yeah, I was gonna say.
No, I was like, damn.
I know, right? Through the media and his nonprofit Developing Options, defendant portrays himself as a neighborhood savior in drawing in donations and government resources intending to benefit at-risk youth, but which he oftentimes used to fund his lifestyle instead. Despite his life of crime, defendant never wanted to return to jail, so he went to great lengths to avoid law enforcement detection, tamper with witnesses, and otherwise obstruct justice. B. Recent examples of a defendant's acts or threats of violence. Number 1, murder of R.W. In 2021, defendant drove to Las Vegas with another Enterprise member to confront R.W., a rapper signed to defendant's record label, who was also a close friend of defendant's son and someone defendant had known for years. Apparently upset about R.W.'s lack of studio production and purported diss song, defendant left the studio with R.W. in the middle of the night for R.W.'s Airbnb. R.W. leaving his Airbnb with his belongings was the last time he was seen alive, as he was found the next morning with gunshot wounds to the head. Defendant returned to the studio after he had left, claiming he had gone to the gym despite the 2 a.m. hour. Defendant's cell phone activity, the obstructionist conduct of other members of the enterprise, and defendant's own words and reactions intercepted on the wire prove his guilt of this heinous crime. R.W.'s murder not only demands defendant's continued detention, but cautions against what may happen to other witnesses, cooperators, and victims were defendants to be released on bond. Right. Okay, number 2, robbery and extortion. Throughout the period of interception and before defendant was captured on audio and video recording, extorting victim 1, both through a co-defendant, Sylvester Robinson, and personally. In doing so, defendant and Robinson frequently threatened violence against victim 1 if he failed to pay their fees. Those threats were not empty when victim 1 started to ignore defendant's calls, demanding extortion payments. Defendant sent multiple armed robbers to victim 1's dispensary to rob him and then demand $10,000 from victim 1 to prevent robberies. In multiple intercepted calls, defendant and his co-conspirators discussed even more robberies they were committing. Robinson also frequently told victim 1 about defendant's violence, including that the defendant was the only OG still actively committing murders. In addition to the constant extortion of victim 1, defendant extorted victim 2 for $30,000 for a party thrown in defendant's honor in December 2021. When the victims requested to pay only $20,000, defendant responded with force, threatening, "I'll tear that bitch up. It won't be a club there no more." And then sending Robinson, another co-defendant, Mark Martin, and members of the Rolling 60s to confront victim 2 at his business and extort $30,000 from him. While the substantive extortion counts are currently limited to just some of those extortions of victim 1 and victim 2, they are not defendants, only extortions. For example, on October 19, 2021, defendant told victim 1 that defendant was taking over the extortion of another business owner. Then on November 7, 2022, on an intercepted call, after yet another extortion victim stated that defendant had not fully paid the extortion victim work on defendant's vehicle, defendant directed Martin to call the extortion victim right now and stated that he would go out there and kill that. I don't want to say that.
Right.
On February 14th, 2023, on another intercepted call, Robinson told Jewboy that he owed the Big U Enterprise money, that they would allow payment plan, but if he did not pay, they were going to shut this motherfucker down. Number 3, power to direct violence. Making him that more dangerous, defendant holds power over others, threatening and committing violence. For example, on November 23rd, 2022, on an intercepted call, defendant said that he can pay 3 people $50 each to beat someone up and describe paying people to mess up a store that was refusing to provide defendant a discount. On April 17th, 2023, on another intercepted call, this defendant directed an individual to deliver a message to another marijuana dispensary owner that defendant said fuck him and that he fucked with the wrong guy. C. Despite a prior 23-year sentence. Oh, sorry, that was weird.
No, you was right there. Despite a prior 23-year sentence for armed robbery.
I know something happened, and it kicked me out.
Okay, I'll tell you what page you're on. The bottom page should be 6.
Okay. Hold on. Sorry.
No, take your time. Everybody hit that like button while we waiting.
Yeah, hit the like button while I get together.
While we waiting on the beautiful Selena, we're so appreciative of having such support from her. Shout out, I'm gonna call y'all back. Shout out to the whole Blue Wrench mob, Papa Dirt. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else who helped us keep this thing going, oiled up like a weld oil machine, the machine in motion. Y'all know about that kind of talk, though. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Chad, I see you over there talking about you dead. We've been seeing them pictures you've been posting too, but we ain't gonna put your business out there. Are you with us?
I'm ready. Okay.
All right.
Hold on. No, it's not right.
Let me see. Let me blow this up. Maybe you can see it on the screen, and then I just have to regulate the screen. Can I spread my legs out? God damn. My dog is right up under me. Won't even let me spread my legs out. Let me air these things out, man. Damn.
Do you remember if it was C? Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly where it was.
All right.
C.
I don't know why it kicked me out as I was reading. It was weird.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Okay. Since at least C, despite a prior 23-year sentence for armed robbery, defendant stayed armed. Since at least July 20th, 1992, defendant has been prohibited from even possessing firearms based on his felony convictions for second-degree robbery with a firearm conspiracy and drug trafficking, for which he received a 23-year prison sentence. Upon his release from prison, he nevertheless continued to use firearms himself, like when he murdered RW, and directed others to use firearms, like when they robbed victim one's dispensary. Throughout this investigation, recordings corroborated that defendant consistently was armed. On October 22nd, 2022, Robinson told victim one that defendant and Robinson would be attending an after party at a club that victim one was promoting, and that a pat down is out, despite defendant would be in attendance, implying that the defendant was armed. On an intercepted call a month later, a defendant told an incarcerated individual that anyone coming at him better come correct because defendant always has 2 blowers on him. On January 3rd, 2023, on an intercepted call, defendant described to an incarcerated individual tooling up with firearms to travel to a Crips neighborhood because we are the most arrogant, bougie, self-righteous motherfuckers on the planet Earth. On April 1st, 2023, on another intercepted call, defendant asked someone to grab a defendant's blower, which he left on the ground in a blue sweatshirt in front of a tire. D. Defendant is not only physical danger, but a financial danger too. Defendant's crimes against victims are not confined only to violence. He spends decades creating a facade of a reformed gang member who seeks to build rather than destroy his community. So disguised defendant use that persona primarily to take from the very community he claims to help. Hundreds of thousands of dollars flowed from charitable donors and government programs to defendants' developing options bank account. Almost immediately, he siphoned off much of the money into his personal bank account. Defendant got richer and richer off his fraud, like his extortions and robberies, owning multiple homes, driving a Mercedes, taking lavish trips, and shopping for luxuries like the $30,000 necklace. The money taken from donors and taxpayers' pockets will never find their intended benefactors, the at-risk youth and children of Crenshaw. That damage cannot be undone, but defendant's success in deceiving politicians, celebrities, and community activists, as well as public at large, further militates against his release back into that community as he attempts to fund an expensive defense. And then there's like a little footnote. It says, indeed, the FBI has received information that defendant is demanding 100 to 200,000 from celebrities to fund his legal defense. In case that does not work, he also concocted an elaborate plan over jail calls to use politically connected associates, including identified victims in this case, whom he has already cuts off.
It's connected on the bottom of the next page.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, defrauded to advocate for the president, whom he disrespectfully calls the orange man. So do I. He's right. Behind
B2.
his back. Intervention in this case.
Right. All right, let's
All
go
right.
back up to E.
E. Defendant is fluent in obstruction. All of it may be founded on crimes, but defendant built a charmed life following his 23-year sentence for armed robbery. He does not want to give it up and uses obstruction frequently to avoid that. The destruction of surveillance footage, use of encrypted applications like FaceTime, demands to meet in person to avoid law enforcement intercepting communications, use of multiple phones and cars, orders not to speak to law enforcement, and chastising of any perceived or suspected cooperators are detailed in the charging instruments. A few are highlighted here. Even when the criminal charges were not against defendant personally, defendant instructed a victim's relative that the victim was to go to the lineup, tell him to pick the wrong person, to insulate defendant's associates from the charges. A master manipulator defendant told another associate that to influence the media for his lawsuit against law enforcement, he should show both positive and negative parts of his life, wear glasses, and say that he was working with developing options, even though he was not. On multiple intercepted calls, defendant talked about beating up or at least breaking a witness's jaw.
Wait. Hey, Yael, do you remember reading the complaint or in the indictment and they were alleging that Big U was on a wiretap saying he wanted to break somebody's jaw when he catch him? Do you remember who jaw he was saying that he wanted to break? Yeah, we can't hear you. You definitely off the mic. We just can't hear you. Dang, I thought he was gonna remember. Anybody in the chat? Do any of y'all remember when he told one of the informants who he didn't know was an informant that somebody was an informant, and when he see him, he gonna break his jaw?
CS2.
CS2 back. Now here it is. They're calling that person who he threatened to break jaw a witness. Read that part again and make sure they seen that CS2 back is a witness on multiple intercepted calls.
On multiple intercepted calls, defendant talked about beating up or at least breaking a witness's jaw. And while defendant may claim other reasons for feuding with the witness, this court should protect him. I'm sorry. Protect
the court
him.
should protect
The court should protect him.
Crazy.
Damn. That's in writing.
In writing, the
Writing.
motion to keep Big U locked up in detention is because of his threat on wiretap that he was going to break a witness's jaw. This witness being CS2 back. So that the AUSA is arguing with the court that this is why Big U should still be in jail.
To protect poor little WACK100.
Nasty work.
Crazy.
All right.
All right. After fleeing with his phones in the hours before his scheduled arrest in this case, an attempt to intimidate and dissuade anyone from cooperating with law enforcement or otherwise reporting information about defendant. Defendant posted publicly on Instagram, naming his co-defendants and known opponents, instructing the public not to associate with them, and claiming that if they did, they were not black. An attempt to poison
His opponents. So now they're arguing on behalf of his opponents more, saying that in the video, he said, y'all might as well put WACK100 and 600 on the case with me. Loose Coochie Cannon. These are his opponents. We all know this. The DA, well, U.S. attorney. The U.S. attorney is arguing to the judge that on behalf of these niggas who all went to court today, they were all at the court.
Damn. It's crazy. Oh, God.
Nasty.
Okay.
All right.
In an attempt to poison the jury pool, which they're really trying to do right now, defendant posted on Instagram claiming racial profiling, ignoring that almost every single one of defendant's victims, from RW to many of his extortion, robbery, fraud victims, and the at-risk youth he was supposed to help, are black, and blaming his co-defendants and opponents for the charges filed against him in a federal criminal complaint.
It was me. It was me.
Hey,
It's,
real quick.
it's definitely you.
It's definitely him. Hold
Definitely
on. Listen to the chat. They firing this boy ass up. J-Boy, keep what up, kid, bro. Whoever wrote this has to be in cahoots with CS2 back. They're the U.S. attorney. Trump is from the groove. Y'all crazy.
No. Alex said, I talked to law. That was a good one.
I talked to the law.
I talked to law.
I talked to the law.
And there you go.
Oh, yeah.
That one was
Hold up. Good to see you again. Hold on. They finna go crazy on him. When I asked the question, they talk about they said witness. Pukaroo said witness. Okay, is the thing, because all right, we're not talking about El Salvador right now. CS2 back. Oh, yeah, everybody remember who he said he was going to break jaw. If he break my jaw, how I'm going to talk to dog? I talk to dog.
No, if they break his jaw, how's he going to talk to the law?
Right.
Can't be a witness.
Yeah, can we go back to that page 8? Because everybody want to hear that part again, because that is the nastiest work we working with right now.
Ready?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's
multiple.
page 8.
Go ahead.
No, my bad. I'm going to pull it up for you.
I
there
got
you
it.
go. Boom.
I don't mind. On multiple intercepted calls, defendant talked about beating up or at least breaking a witness's jaw. And while defendant may claim other reasons for feuding with that witness, come on now, the court should protect him. That's sad. After fleeing with his phone in the hours before his scheduled arrest in this case, in an attempt to intimidate and dissuade anyone from cooperating with law enforcement or otherwise reporting information about defendant posted publicly on Instagram, naming his co-defendants and known opponents, instructing the public not to associate with them, and claiming if they did, they were not black. In an attempt to poison the jury pool, defendant posted on Instagram claiming racial profiling, ignoring that almost every single one of defendant's victims, from RW to many of his extortion, robbery, fraud victims, and the at-risk youth he was supposed to help, are black, and blaming his co-defendants and opponents for the charges filed against him in a federal criminal complaint. But in all honesty, isn't that what they're doing to him? They're trying to tamper the jury pool.
That's exactly what their money in the jury pool.
Yeah.
Popeye Rough Dog, I've been looking for you. Jump in my inbox and hit me up in the DM, big homie. But he says, homie, we all know the witnesses that busted. Ain't no question, man. Salute, though. Pardon us, Selena. I just had to make sure I got that message.
I do want to make a quick point to that.
Okay.
Would you have me read yet? No. You good, brother. You good. So when Selena said that the witness would be protected by the courts, correct? Okay. So let's go back to yesterday when we were reading Texas, right? In the interest of just listen where I'm going with this. Here you go, Deuce. Listen to where I'm going with this. So if he's a witness on the wires on this wiretap, right? On this recorded conversation, he's a witness, right? And it's alleged that he was going to break somebody's jaw, somebody he's openly feuding with. We all know that CS2 bad. So let's go to the interest of justice real quick from yesterday. They provide one of the things is to undercover role, no, public interest or safety. Public interest or safety. Prosecutors can dismiss charges in the interest of justice if the pursue the case would do more harm than good, like exposing other investigations or putting people in danger. Okay, those one of the things that will probably help CS2 back. This is what it do for him. This is what that in the interest of justice getting his case out there in Texas got dismissed for. Well, it got dismissed in the interest of justice. These are one of the things that will help him.
Yael, you's an animal, blinking all that together. You's a smart mother. Ooh, shut your mouth.
Damu Kiwe Conversations.
All right, Selena, back to the beautiful Selena.
All right. Legal standard. A defendant must be detained pending trial where no condition or combination of conditions will reasonably assure the appearance of the person as required and the safety of any other person and the community. Detention is thus appropriate for a defendant who is either a danger to the community or a risk of non-appearance. The Bail Reform Act mandates an individual's evaluation guided by the factors articulated in, and it tells you, United States versus Diaz-Hernandez. Those factors are 1, the nature and seriousness of the offense charged, including whether the offense is a crime of violence. 2, the weight of the evidence against the defendant. 3, the defendant's character, physical and mental condition, family and community ties, past conduct, history relating to a drug or alcohol abuse, and criminal history. And 4, the nature and seriousness of the danger to any person or to the community that would be posed by the defendant's release. Consideration of non-statutory factors is disfavored. Diaz-Hernandez. 5, defendant should remain detained because he is a risk of non-appearance and danger to the community. The 43 federal charges against defendant, the damning evidence against him, his dangerous history and characteristics, and the risk to numerous specific individuals and the community at large if he were to be released, all support his detention pending trial. A, nature and circumstances of the offense. The nature and circumstances of defendant's offenses unequivocally weigh in favor of detention. There is no crime more serious or permanent than the murder that defendant committed, and still defendant did not stop there. I mean, you're saying that he committed it, but you don't have the proof for sure. Like, it's ridiculous. Anyways, courts considered cases like defendants have unanimously ruled in favor of detention. Detaining on danger, reversing district's court release order, noting defendant's total commitment to a life of crime, quoting defendant's threats to kill, finding his association with organized crime and devotion to the mafia, a highly relevant consideration to detention. The Tortora court detained the defendant who made the mafia his highest priority in life and pledged I don't need this one. Fidelity to his needs, whatever the circumstances. Defendant here, like in Tortora, is virtually a paradigm, I can never say that word, of the criminal who within
Paradigm.
Thank you. I can never say that word. I always get blinked up. Of the criminal who within the compilation of the Bail Reform Act might plausibly be subjected to pretrial detention on grounds of dangerousness. ID at 886. Similarly, where a magistrate judge released a defendant charged with Rico crimes, including conspiracy to commit attempted murder and conspiracy to commit assault with the background of an enterprise engaged in other acts of violence, the district court reversed, noting that the defendant is charged with violent and serious crimes and allegedly has been a member of his street gang since May 2012, and that the seriousness and violent nature of the crimes the defendant is charged with weighs against his release. And it has United States versus Cazares, where a defendant was charged in a Rico indictment based on an extortion, wire fraud, witness tampering, and other crimes, and he directed the activities of his co-defendants. As defendant did here, detention was warranted based on his activities as well as the activities of those he supervised and controlled. Also citing multiple Second Circuit cases that have been rejected as insufficient various conditions of release proposed in cases involving the pretrial detention of purported leaders of organized crimes, families shown to be involved in violent criminal activities. See also United States versus Colombo. Reversing release order even where the defendant did not directly participate in any crime alleged, but led the criminal enterprise that carried out criminal activities at his direction. Defendants facing RICO charges based on predicate acts of murder, conspiracy to murder, and other crimes were also detained on danger for readily furthering organized crimes, criminal objectives through violence, which appropriately describes defendant here. Moreover, as currently charged, defendant faces a statutory maximum of well over 600 years.
Damn. They say that like it ain't nothing. Big U is facing a statutory maximum of
600
over
years.
600 years. And these niggas is laughing about it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Even discounting defendant's criminal history due to his age, as currently charged, defendant faces a likely guidelines range of life in prison based on a total offense of 43 counts, one alone. The severity of the potential penalties involved augments defendant's risk of non-appearance. Affirming denial of bail based on risk of non-appearance where defendant facing fraud charges that exposed him to a range of just 57 to 71 months in prison. Explaining that facing the much graver penalties possible under the present indictment, the defendants have an even greater incentive to consider flight, and noting that electronic monitoring cannot assure prevention of non-appearance. It is entirely reasonable to conclude that a risk of flight is more likely in circumstances where evidence indicates that a defendant has engaged in terrorist activities and faces substantial risk of being convicted of serious pending charges receiving significant punishment. While defendant turned himself in after a period of flight and removal of evidence, he did not, at that time, know the weight of the charges, the substantial sentence he faces, or the insurmountable weight of the evidence proving his crimes. The steeper potential sentence, the more probable flight risk is, especially considering the strong case of the government. The nature and circumstances of defendant's offenses demonstrate that he is a risk of both danger and non-appearance. B. Weight of evidence. The evidence that the defendant committed the charges offenses is overwhelming and cannot be ignored in assessing defendant's risk of danger and non-appearance in this case. Given the nature of the crime and the straits of the government's case, we find that the government has met its burden of showing by clear and convincing evidence that no condition or combination of conditions will reasonably assure the safety of the community. Do you want me to read the footnote?
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing in the text endorses assign relative weights to the statutory factors, and this court should decline to do so. The statement that the strength of the evidence is deserving of the least weight originated with the United States versus Honeyman. but only in the context of applying the factors to the specific case, forgery. While one factor will outweigh others in a particular case, it is inappropriate to treat one factor as categorically less important. The weight given to each factor will inevitably vary from case to case. Indeed, various courts have questioned and criticized the creation of a hierarchy of factors. Finding that, oh, sorry. Subsequently, Ninth Circuit opinion seized in one case language statute does not instruct that one or another factor is less important. It is difficult to see how this factor could always be, oh my gosh, so less important than others, where there were very strong evidence that a defendant was a serial rapist or killer. This factor alone might outweigh all others, and that the principle is in an off-key but well-intentioned attempt to remind us of the rule that the detention is not to ordered simply because we are convinced that the accused is guilty. To the contrary, other circuits have described it as one of the most important factors.
And that's why they utilize that as an overt act. I'm gonna show y'all after we finish this that when you look at all of the charges charged on the indictment on the right hand side, the murder is not one of them. They're utilizing that as an overt act so those implications could stop that man from getting a bail. But go ahead.
Okay. Defendant was captured of audio recordings and intercepted wire calls discussing various violent and other crimes for months and even years. Many of his extortions were themselves captured in recordings. The financial records and tax documents do not lie either. They show exactly how defendant committed all his fraud, and the recordings show why. All the evidence in this case conclusively shows defendant's personal involvement in murder, extortion, robbery, fraud, human trafficking, and crimes. Defendant's entire purpose was based on financial gain, respect, fear, and intimidation. Accordingly, the weight of the evidence favors defendant's continued detention. C. History and characteristics of defendant. This court should not fall victim to any argument about defendant's lack of conviction since his release from state custody in the early 2000s. Absence of conviction is not the same as absence of crimes. Defendant's history and characteristics plainly favor detention. Detaining defendant who had no criminal history and was only charged with possessing firearms while being a recreational user. This is a different one. So, United States versus Erman. Do you want me to read that one?
Yeah.
Okay. United States versus Erman. So they're kind of basing on that. Detained defendant who had no criminal history and was only charged with possessing firearms while being a recreational user of marijuana because of his role as president of a motorcycle club regarding violence and stymieing law enforcement efforts. Defendant's involvement in multiple violent offenses while holding himself out to be a gang interventionist working with law enforcement renders him particularly dangerous to the community. The fact that
Hold on, I want to address something right there that was said.
Go for it.
So I seen some goofies today talking about this and saying Big U was working for the police, right? When obviously in this case, because he didn't train his workers with the grid program, just read the indictment. Because he didn't document and give information to the law enforcement, all of the things it would take for him to be a snitch, he refused to do from day one. The mayor didn't have a problem with it because he brought results. It made the lawyer and his office look great that crime was down for the last 20 years, right? So when it says interventionists working with law enforcement, well, why are they charging that he defrauded the federal government by not doing that if he was working with law enforcement? That is who he's supposed to have been doing, ideally, once he accepted grid money, but he refused to do that. And that's kind of like what the politics come down in this whole case is about those contracts. A lot of people want those contracts. We had CS2 back promise that he was coming to get them contracts, and I'll play that afterwards. Please finish, Selena. We got about 7 more pages. I'm sorry.
Okay. Defendant was captured of did I already read that part? Sorry. See, history and characters of defendant. This court should not fall victim to any argument about defendant's lack of conviction since his release from state custody. Didn't I already read that part?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Next page. Sorry. Okay. Did I lose it again?
Well, we're on page 20 when you
Yeah.
push
the bottom, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Defendant's depraved and duplicitous scheme to intimidate and defraud the very community that he benefited from claiming to help cast his criminal history in an even more troubling light. Indeed, defendant's history of charges for murder and other gang-related activities compared with the murder and other violent crimes he is now charged with committing alongside gang members suggests that defendant did not change his criminal behavior in any way. He just got better at hiding it. More recent arrests for child abuse and being a felon in possession of a firearm also became more ominous in light of the evidence in this case. The court should pause in considering whether defendant is able to or willing to conduct himself without putting others in danger. The defendant so clearly filed from the defendant so clearly fled from law enforcement the night before his arrest, only to publicly blame others for his crimes and charges, reinforces his guilt and incompatibility with pretrial release. And it has another one. United States versus Hernandez Miranda. Flight immediately after commission of a crime or immediately before trial supports inference of consciousness of guilt. Defendant surrendered to law enforcement was likewise not to fight the charges and show that he had nothing to hide, but was taken with the precise goal of crafting an argument for bail before the court. However, while the defendant may have made the calculated decision in consultation with his attorneys to return to Los Angeles after his relatively brief flight from his arrest on the complaint, the callous inevitably changes to date after a 43 count indictment was returned with extremely serious offenses carrying enormous potential penalties. He is now, for the first time in decades, facing the very likely prospect of never leaving prison alive. Indeed, that would be a guideline sentence on the charges the government is prepared to prove by, among other things, the testimony of witnesses and victims and electronic evidence, including intercepted phone calls, surreptitious recordings. Oh my God. Given the serious nature of the charges, the strength of the evidence, and the defendant's access to vast amounts of resources and criminal support, his risk of non-appearance is more pronounced today than it has ever been. D. Nature and seriousness of danger posed by defendant's release. Defendant is not only a risk of danger to the community, but has acted on his dangerousness time and again. While this brief summarizes many of the defendant's violent acts, it may be missing others given defendant's use of others to commit crimes for him and his proclivity for taking in person or for talking in person or on an encrypted application to avoid detection. And still, defendant varied crimes are still omnipresent in his recorded communications. Furthermore, defendant's release would pose a serious risk to individuals who have assisted the government in this case, as well as
they scared the informants who's assisted in this case. Those witnesses. If Big U is released, this would pose a serious risk to the rest. Hey, we almost finished. I know you ready to drink something and go. Let me let you finish this, and we'll get into it.
I'm going to vindicate while
I
you
told
talk.
you, hey, Belina, shut the fuck up. You talking too much. See, this is what happens when
No.
you get these bozos. Hey, Duke Sims, you's a motherfucking bozo. I don't give a fuck about Belina, Selena, Alina, Delina. Hey, what's gonna happen is this. I'ma do what I gotta do. In the
Which is
interest
what?
of
Talk?
justice. Hey,
Rap? Because
fuck
that's all you
you.
do?
Fuck you. Hey,
Yo,
listen.
fuck you. Fuck you, big
Hey,
mouth. Someone
hey,
needs
I
to get
got
his
something
mouth
for
and
you.
just sew that shit up.
Shalalalalalina. Bababalalina.
Oh, wow. Stupid.
That's crazy.
You're telling me to shut the fuck up. Why don't you shut the fuck up for once?
Right.
We're tired of your ass. Okay, back.
All right, let's go.
All right. Furthermore, defendant's release would pose a serious risk to individuals who have assisted the government in this case, as well as witnesses and victims who have so far refused to cooperate or provide statements because of what they know. As defendant made clear in an intercepted call on January 5th, 2023, being a rat, you know all about that, means you are done. Indeed, trying to intimidate and dissuade anyone from cooperating with law enforcement or otherwise reporting information about defendant before turning himself in. Defendant posted an Instagram video naming his co-defendants and known opponents, instructing the public not to associate with them and claiming that if they did, they were not Black. This tracks with the means and methods of the enterprise described in this indictment. Threatening or pressuring victims or witnesses of crimes committed by members or associates of the Big U enterprise to avoid interactions with or to provide unlawful statements or testimony to law enforcement officers. Defendant's release would pose a serious risk to the safety of those specific individuals. Threats of physical harm to cooperating witnesses risk serious danger to the witnesses themselves, as well as to the community more broadly. To be plain, such conduct fundamentally endangers the integrity of the judicial process. It says United States versus Comberg, bunch of codes. Upholding detention on danger finding based on defendants own threats of violence, including threats to potential witnesses or cooperators. Even nonviolent threats to judicial process, which defendant is also engaged in, may warrant detention. United States versus LaFontaine, explaining that detention may be even more justified in cases of violations related to the trial process, such as witness tampering, than in cases where the defendant's past criminality was said to support a finding of general dangerousness, and rejecting contention that her attempts to influence the testimony of witnesses does not constitute the type of danger the community would support detention. United States versus Richardson. Even the nonviolent forms of obstruction of justice pose a sufficiently serious danger to the community, such as pretrial detention, is warranted. No bail resources could mitigate defendant's danger to the community in light of the severity of his charged offenses, and his obstruction during the investigation following the announcement of charges. See United States versus here. Affirming district court's denial of proposed $600,000 secured bail package based on risk defendant posed to the community. Says see also. It has Congress finding that a defendant who is a danger to the community remains dangerous even if he has posted a substantial money bond. Likewise, any proposed release conditions, including electronic monitoring, will all suffer from the critical flaw in that they depend on the defendant's good faith compliance in order to be effective. In particular, electronic monitoring does not prevent a defendant from committing crimes within the monitoring radius, and there is no reasonable way to assure that a defendant would not make impermissible stops or detours on his way to places permitted under the restrictions. Reverse release order finding that restrictions on communications with any person not approved by counsel, monitoring a phone through pen register 24-hour house arrest, and other conditions had an Achilles heel because virtually all of them hinge on defendant's good faith compliance. Because defendant's personal commitment to abide by release condition is a key factor for determining his fitness for bail. See her, his serial and flagrant criminality counsels against bail in this case. In particular, given defendant's history of engaging in obstructive conduct, no condition on the bond form would prevent and detect such conduct. For example, in United States versus Fernati, a case in which the defendant was charged with witness tampering, among other crimes, and where obstruction remained an ongoing concern, the circuit court reversed the district court's release of the defendant on bail conditions because the 1 million bond, which was to be secured by properties owned by the defendant and his family, only deterred not appearance, not danger. More specifically, the appellate court found that the district court's bail conditions intended to address witness tampering, which is a general prohibition that the defendant was not to commit a crime or intimidate a witness, does not at all impede his ability to do so, and requires no more of him than that which the law already demands from a defendant and every other citizen. Even participation in pretrial services, computer monitoring programs would be insufficient to ensure the defendant will cease engaging in unauthorized or inappropriate communications in person or undisclosed devices or third parties. Indeed, defendant flouted BOP rules for years. Defendant previously bragged about paying guards and overseeing the entire drug trade on the yard when previously serving time. More recently, as overheard on an intercepted call on November 22nd, 2022, when the defendant told an incarcerated individual that the defendant was going to charge someone in federal prison $6,000 to have a phone smuggled to him. Then on January 3rd, 2023, in an intercepted call, a defendant told an incarcerated individual that the defendant was going to purchase 6 miniature phones to send to the incarcerated individual so he could sell them in prison for $1,000 each. Now in custody himself, defendant has asked his family to contact known victims in this case. If defendant cannot abide by rules in the highly restrictive setting of detention, there is no reason he should be trusted to abide by the court's conditions in less restrictive setting. The risk to numerous victims and witnesses in this case, as well as the rest of the public, is too great to give the defendant that chance. Conclusion. If the court wants to know how defendant will conduct themselves on pretrial release, it needs to look no further than the recordings documenting the defendant's conduct and threats throughout this investigation. With everything to lose, including the immense goodwill he fraudulently procured from the community and his city, defendant still told anyone who dared to ask he was a killer, and he proved that he was. Because defendant is both a danger to the community and a risk of non-appearance should the case not go his way, this court should permanently detain defendant pending trial. The bottom note is, if the court is inclined to grant bail, the government respectfully requests that this court stay its bail order pending appeal to the Honorable Fernando L. N.O. Rocha.
So we're gonna get into this real quick. Everybody that's in there, Yael, we got a super chat. Can we read that last super chat before we get into the content, man? We got an update on the bail hearing. I just got it. Big U bail was denied. So this is his first go at it.
You want to do it right now, dudes?
Yeah, go ahead and read that super chat.
Oh man, we got Iceman Vamp with the $10 super chat. We got the Texas gun case mentioned in the Biggie case, the Main Street case, and now the Big U case. Does anybody know another person who's been involved in 4 federal cases and nothing happened to him? Iceman Vamp, we appreciate the $10 super chat. Anything and everything that is given to us
Highly appreciated to the Damu Kiwe Conversation. Salute to you, your family, and your tribe.
So, True Senate, Big U took out himself. Once again, zero accountability in the chat. Well, excuse me, True Senate, are you with the Senate or are you with the police department? Some kind of law enforcement. Because first and foremost, you don't take accountability when you're pleading your innocence. Fuck boy. And if you're trying to minimize the contributions of the witnesses who are constantly cited by the AUSA in here of needing protection, if Big U took himself out and they didn't contribute to it, why the fuck would the U.S. attorney need, the assistant U.S. attorney, even need those informants, dummy? Why would they need people to put paint where it ain't, dummy? So really, if you're looking for accountability, that means that you've already prejudged the facts of this case without ever even hearing all the facts in the case or allowing those alleged facts in the case to survive the crux of cross-examination. That is essential in the judicial justice system. It's called the Confrontation Clause, guaranteed by the Sixth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. So right now, I could try to swing on somebody from your angle. It looks like, oh, I seen his right hand come over and he hit Selena. But that's from your angle. That's how you're viewing things. But then once trial come, we found some camera footage that shows what I was doing was knocking something down that was going by our head, right? So just because one person sees something from one angle and perspective, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's fact. There's other evidence that will be submitted to combat what you're assuming are facts. See, and I hope that you ain't melanated, black or brown, because this just us system, not just this, just us system isn't really inclusive or made to benefit those from lower income and poverty throughout the United States. In fact, it is more than likely utilized to target those in those communities, because usually when people can't eat, when people don't have the resources in these impoverished communities in the inner cities, that's where you're going to usually have rampant crime. And they prey off of it. They look at niggas in jail like an investment in stocks. Hey, hold on. Who off the mic? Somebody come off the mic, shoot him. So back to what I was saying, the justice system is flawed. You have these crooked ass politicians on both sides of the spectrum, Democrats and Republicans, all talking about justice reform. You have a lot of activists talking about justice reform and all of this, and yet it still remains flawed. But even that flawed system affords Big U and criminal defendants like him more rights than what True Senate came here looking for, right? True Senate came in here talking about Big U took out himself. Once again, zero accountability in the chat. So I guess you're saying fuck democracy, fuck the scales of justice. Whatever is being accused, he's guilty.
Right.
We hope we don't get no pieces of shit like you on the jury. You know what I'm saying? Because you's a fucking piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? We might as well send you to one of these communist countries where they don't have those type of... Matter of fact, that's what you need to do. In fact, our people is the reason that we have these civil rights today. The civil rights movement was founded in America because of so many black men being hung because white women were falsely accusing them of rape. They were being lynched and hung around the world, around the country. So the fight for civil rights began. Our people fought for that right. And here your piece of shit ass coming here talking about accountability. Let the process play itself out. Selena, y'all, either one of y'all want to say something before I continue?
Y'all, you want to go first? Okay,
Go
I'll say.
ahead, Selena.
I'll just say it's interesting that people come in to this chat and say we're not holding out accountability. Why don't you hold accountability to the fact that WACK100 sits there every single day, playing in everyone's faces, telling everyone what they think and what he says, how he's got paperwork on everyone, talk about being fair, but you're over here against Big U. We're going to stick up for him in this room, and that's it. You don't need to be in here. Obviously, you're one-sided. Go to the 100 side where he can manipulate you, but you're not going to manipulate us. And that's the way it is.
Facts. Yeah. It's the longest opening statement since the Menendez brothers trial. Yeah, when you talk about 600 years that he's facing, I don't believe in coincidence, especially when in Big U turning himself in, they're constantly talking about these witnesses. 600 being one of them who was mentioned. 60 times 10 is 600. 6 times 60 times 10. Nasty work. But this is
Right.
what they're going to do.
I have one more thing to say. You know,
Go
when
ahead.
reading this, the fact that I read multiple times about how Big U is the things he was saying is trying to tamper the jury pool. What about vice versa? The fact that WAC is up there every single day, and so many people, you know, are up there every day talking about Big U, you know, claiming that he did murder this individual, which you don't have. It's not. He's not guilty at this time. You can. It's all alleged at this point. We know he didn't, but at the same point, you're throwing all of these stories out about him, and guess what you're doing? You're tampering the jury pool against Big U. So it's you know what you're saying is just basically a double-edged sword. You're trying to claim that what Big U is doing was trying to tamper it, but no, you're trying to tamper everyone against him. Will he get a fair trial in LA? I don't think so.
Salute. I was just letting everybody elaborate. Y'all know on my work, man. Basically, man, this is just after hearing the first key point in the whole thing for me was hearing the fact that the witness can be protected. That just already gave me a yellow flag to slow down and rethink and reread stuff. So that had me jump to the interest of justice in a Texas situation, being that this individual is already implicated in this situation and his identity is on the line of being revealed to a degree. I believe that there are things that they're going to try to do to make it seem as if he don't have to get on the stand. Right? But right now it says witness, right? He's a witness. For him to have to come out, his identity will have to be disclosed.
That part.
And we're going to know exactly why CS2 back has been spinning and trying to clean up and trying to do all this stuff he's been doing now. At the end of the day, I feel like anybody that's attached to these individuals, that's doing business, commentating, hanging out with them, they have it out for Big U. They have it out for him. They don't care for him. They don't care about this man's name being dragged through the mud. They don't care about the false allegations being put on his name. They just don't care, man. They all about $1. It's all about $1 because they don't give a fuck. You know, and this is sad right now that this brother is going through this. His name is being slandered. It's being butchered because of individuals who can't stand on their own 10. They trying to fit in.
Yeah, this is nasty work.
Salute.
Nisi Pie said they changed the wording from like extortion to him manipulating people. So what that's saying is, and I'm gonna get into that also. Damn, I forgot to write down what page that was, where they were talking about Some of the witnesses have already refused to cooperate as they were already cooperating, right? Because let it be no questions about it. Big U is fighting against 600 years. I don't know no man on this earth facing 600 years that's not going to push the trial. On top of that, this man is 58 years old. A 10-year sentence could be a death sentence. A 20-year sentence could be a death sentence. So 600 years is definitely a death sentence. He has no choice but to fight. Good thing for me, growing up where I grew up in South Central LA, those in my generation and generations before me, if we didn't know how to do nothing, we knew how to fight. We always was against the odds. The system was designed to make sure it held us accountable. But who holds this system accountable? Let's deviate from the topic for a few seconds before we get into the fact. When dirty pigs employed by this system and this government, unalive, unarmed Black and Latinos across the planet, even Caucasian, why are they held to a different standard in the court of law? Right? Well, this is a great opportunity. Stelina, I'm glad you up here. If you're comfortable, why don't you tell us about the situation you and your friends have been dealing with? Because it definitely needs light, and that's what this platform is for.
Sure. It's been about 48 days ago. My friend, a very good friend since we were young, son was coming home from a birthday outing with his family, like his cousins and such. He had just turned 21 the week before. Now, mind you, I've known this kid since he was like a little boy, and he was always just an amazing kid. On his way home, he had went and was dropping off like his family members because they were, even though they're out celebrating him, he's more the responsible person. So he was dropping people off. He had left a cousin's home and he was on his way home. He wasn't on the freeway. He was driving streets, but if you were from Los Angeles, you know there's the CHP, which is the California Highway Patrol. As he was driving home, he was followed by the Highway Patrol. Obviously, we're not in the car, and unfortunately, we have no way to speak to him. But as he turned onto a cul-de-sac, which was right by his home, the police were chasing him, had lights and sirens and such, and pushed him into the cul-de-sac, but at the same time into the dead end piece of it. And as he exited the vehicle, he was shot and killed and shot 17 times by the CHP. So to be shot once, to be shot twice is one thing, but 17 times. And they are at this point trying to claim he had a gun. There's no gun. There's witnesses from the homes that were right there on that cul-de-sac saw that he had no gun, that he did not toss a gun. There's just no way. And dealing with that, number one, is horrible, especially knowing this kid all my life. Like, he's it's sad. I'm trying not to like be emotional. But he is like been like my own kid, for so many years. But to be shot 17 times, and it was literally on the next street from where he lived. And my friend is dealing with that. He came from a huge family, 6 kids, and a very tight family and friends, and now at this point she wants answers, of course, about why were you following him? He was on our freeway. Your CHP wasn't even LAPD. And this was all over the news, listening to people say so many things about him without knowing, number one, him, knowing his family. And yet we've had 45 days where the CHP has to respond and provide any reports, dash cams, body cams, if there's anything from that evening, to my friend and her attorney, because she has received, retained an attorney, and they did not do so. She was quiet during this whole time because she did not want to make them upset, and so that they wouldn't turn things over. But they just did it anyways. So at this point now, you know, today it looks like her attorney went to court to basically try to mandate that any information is turned over to them. But now we're to the point where we're tired of it. So, we will be going out there and finally speaking, because for the last 48 days or so, everybody's been quiet. She's been super quiet, and it's sad to see her this way. She's such a strong person, and she's broken. But again, she has a big family. She has a lot of really good friends, and we're gonna do what we have to do to get Seja Rivera Longi's story out, because it's unjust. And I know like to me it's personal, because that's practically like my little boy too. But this happens to so many of us, to so many families. I'm not the only person that's dealing with this. This happens to many, and including people sitting on this live. I'm sure you know someone that has been, a victim of any crimes that are in the hands of law enforcement. And even growing up, I saw it too. So it's just not fair to any of us. We shouldn't be dealing with this. So yeah.
Well, first, thank you for sharing that. And what was your friend name again?
My friend's name is Angie, and
And
her son is Seja Rivera Longi. He's Tongan. So, and he's part of the small Tongan, well, not small, they're big, Tongan community here in the valley.
okay. Well, I know they have the Tongan community over there, like by Inglewood, Hawthorne
Yeah,
borderline, off Prairie. But
yeah,
peace and
they're
blessings to
beautiful.
them. Whatever we could do to help ring their voice out so it could be heard, we definitely want to cooperate with them whenever they go and demonstrate. We also want to be a part of that. If
Love
as
it.
long as time permits, we want to make sure that we could give everybody else notice so that it could be as loud as possible.
Thank you.
Because on the West Coast, if y'all didn't know, I lead the charge to end qualified immunity. And what that is a federal law put in under the Reagan administration, which holds cops and law enforcement or officers of the court or part of the federal government to a different standard of the law when they commit crimes. It's called qualified immunity, right? Essentially, it creates a second and third class citizen in the land of the free. So even though melanated people that look like me, or even Hispanics and Latinos that look like Selena, or even in this case, a brother that's Tongan, all citizens in the United States is supposed to be power to the people. All citizens should be held to the same standard. They should not incentivize those who work with this overzealous, militarized police and government and law enforcement to protect their riches, be held to a lesser standard, which makes it harder to hold them accountable when they're dead wrong. This is an ideal situation, and you definitely got our support, Selena. So
Thank you.
with this dude that was talking about accountability, where's the accountability in that case?
Absolutely.
Where's the accountability in Brown case? Where's the accountability of Eric Gardner case, who was selling single cigarettes in front of a store and couldn't breathe and was choked unalive after he's telling them he can't breathe? So don't come over here on a fucking moral high ground talking about accountability.
Right.
When your bitch ass gonna hold the government accountable? The same government that came over here, great, pillaged, robbed, and stole this land from indigenous people that been over here. Kidnapped and brought slaves over here for decades. That kidnapping, that great, where was the accountability then? It's real easy after I robbed every bank and amassed all of the wealth in this country to want order. People to abide a law now. Anybody else who robs these banks and tries to get this money needs to go to jail. You know what I'm saying? You need to go to jail. Not me, though. I already demonopolized it. In fact, I'm going to start charging all of y'all that didn't rob the banks with me, black, Mexicans, whites, taxes. And when y'all pay these taxes, we're going to take these slave catchers and we're going to formulate police departments and law enforcement agencies. And we're going to arm them better than the population. And we're going to make sure anybody who bucks against the law and order that I established after I robbed the bank is held accountable. But you don't hold me accountable, right? I never get held accountable. That sounds justice, right? That sounds like American justice, right? That's cool, right? No, that's not cool, right? But as we say, if it's justice, it's supposed to be justice. Big U has yet to be found guilty, and the indictment in itself states that these are mere allegations and everyone is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. It's due process, Second Amendment and the Sixth Amendment Confrontation Clause, rights afforded by the framers of the Constitution, right? Even that faulty judicial system, which I have little bit of faith in, little faith at all, right? Offers more justice than a lot of you house Negroes and sellouts and colonized minds in the population of the United States today. They could continue to erode your voting rights with gerrymandering. They could continue to take and cut $600 million in Medicare services. All along, they're sending billions of dollars to Ukraine. They're sending money to Venezuela to overthrow that government, to steal, so the government steals the oil in Venezuela, putting puppet governments down there. And then they'll call them a banana republic and say that they were just a faulty, corrupted government. But this is what they manifested, right? So, yeah, let he without sin be the first to cast a stone. But what they say, don't never throw rocks at nobody else's house when you live in a glass house. Now, I don't know if Big U's guilty of anything. I never met a Big U that was doing crime. It's not the person I met. That's not the person I dealt with. But I understand, fuck Big U in this situation. I'm talking about the public spoiling and corrupting the potential jury pools in a criminal case where someone faces 600 years. If they do it to him, what's going to stop them from doing it to me or my son or my nephew? And these are the liberties that we take for granted, and you're seeing what they just did. Whole bunch of speculation about a lot of crimes. Let's talk about this unaliving of RW. First and foremost, it hasn't even been charged. I mean, it hasn't been charged. It's been alleged as an overt act, but it has not been a charge in this indictment. So why is they even speaking up on this? And we're only at the first bail hearing, and there will be more bail hearings. You can file multiple 10, 6, 8 at different stages bond hearings. You can have multiple bond hearings, different judges. He's just still at his magistrate judge. When he get his regular judge, he's going to have other bail hearings. During pretrial motions, discovery motions, when different facts come out, right? And now it put things in the context, things that was presented that looked incriminating against Big U. Puts them in the context, like say this for the donations. Say right now, Yael, we only got like $5,000 in the active Chuck charitable account. Look, bro, these kids need $25,000 to they need $25,000 to get all of this equipment for the new season, the upcoming season. And I got $15,000 and Yael got $5,000. He gives me his $5,000 out of his pocket. And I take $15,000 out of my pocket. But we got Selena who told us, hey, my company said they're going to contribute a donation of $20,000, but I'm going through all of the yellow tape that it takes for the company to get y'all at. Well, we can't wait for Selena because the season's finna start. So I take my $15,000, the $5,000 that's left in the pot already, and Yael gives his $5,000. And now we got the $25,000 that it takes to make sure that these kids at Crenshaw are able to do that. Selena comes after that and says, hey, great news, my company, we got everything approved. We're writing a wire to you right now. Well, I took that out of my pocket expecting at some point Selena's company or Selena would be donating the $20,000 that we put in. So the wire comes through, hey, Yael, I know you didn't have the money like that, but you just for these kids, here's that $5 you gave back to me. I immediately sent it back to Yael. The $15,000 that I took out my pocket, I put it back immediately into my company. See, I watched Big U breaking himself for them kids out of his money. So these allegations like he was stealing can easily be explained when you get into the context of what was going on. He spreads himself too thin, even with his time. And I don't want to talk about too much of his business, but imagine having 12 or 14 kids in your house every day. I'm quite sure your kids, your wife, everybody's going to be irritated with all of these badass kids that ain't theirs running around the house every day, taking them to San Bernardino where they live, picking them back up to make sure they make practice. So these kids ain't just out there hanging around the community in mischief. See, a lot of this stuff will get context. The alleged murder that hasn't been charged, the misappropriation of funds, right? And all of these other crimes that's being alleged in this indictment. But let's talk about this. In this motion, the assistant U.S. attorney said that if you're a rat, you are done. This is why Big U shouldn't be given a bail. If you're a rat, you're done. Well, what about YSL Woody? He's out. He's out and about. Has anybody made an attempt on him? He goes public. He goes live. He even goes on all of these podcasts. Well-known informant. See, maybe under the mafia, they used to hold that. Under the old G code, in inner cities and black gangs and even Sereno gangs, if you're a rat, they're gonna knock you down. But if you haven't noticed, in 2025, it's kind of trendy and in vogue to be a rat. It's not. It's more acceptable. As sad as it is to say, we stand on our own principles. We push them away and cut them off. But that don't mean that I'm finna crash out and knock one down. We're not doing that. Look, Stutterbox, I'm not coming for you. I'm not gunning for you. But it is what it is. The truth is the truth. The same position we took. So while they overrepresent the significance of Big U saying they were asking me, when they raided my house, they were asking about 600, WACK100, loose cannon, and all of this internet shit. Now, y'all take that for what y'all want to take. He didn't imply to do nothing to him. He knew that these niggas was working before. He part of the Damu Kiwe. So if he intended on knocking down any one of them niggas because he's this big old bad mob boss, as they're trying to paint him to be publicly, further contaminating the jury pool, then why wasn't none of them rat-ass niggas knocked down? Right? Why? So they're over selling and misspeaking on the significance of Tekashi 6ix9ine being a rat, of YSL Woody being a rat. Now, that doesn't mean that if them dudes get caught at the right place at the wrong time, that their life wouldn't be in danger. But your life could be in danger right now without being an informant at the wrong place at the wrong time. So that people out here aren't necessarily trying to do a crime against a rat when they knowing, unless they gonna try to kill him. Now, beat one up, I definitely got a rat that if I see we got an issue, he's getting knocked the fuck out. Bottom line. Not because he's a rat, but because he disrespected my name. He disrespected my father and my family. But I don't want nobody else to do nothing to him. In fact, I wouldn't even be satisfied if somebody was able to boot bop this bum-ass, bust-ass nigga before I do. It wouldn't satiate my desire for holding him accountable for disrespecting my family and threatening my family. It wouldn't. So that's not a criminal, that's a man. And if you want us to behave as less than men, then hey, it is what it is. We're on opposite sides. The next thing, threats of physical harm to cooperating witnesses. Nasty motherfucking work. Threats of physical harm to cooperating witnesses. Allegedly, Big U they said they got a wiretap where Big U said he was going to break, that he told one of the informants, he told two of the cooperating witnesses and informants that WACK100 don't fuck with WACK100. He's a snitch. And when he see him, he going to break his jaw. This is what WACK100, the government is alleging Big U said about WACK100. That's the physical harm being threatened to a cooperating witness. Well, I guess all of them 100 EBT niggas that said he wasn't a cooperating witness and didn't have nothing to do with the case, your delusions is over. The government in the paperwork is telling you This nigga's a cooperating witness, nigga. He been working for 3 years. We've been telling you CS2 Back was still working. He was working with hip-hop police. And a lot of you dick-sucking, Oscar Mayer Mafia representations, despicable representations for your family, for your neighborhood, and just lack of degenerates and lack of any kind of morals, because you believed in your mind that this dude would or even had the capabilities to help change your miserable position. Miserable position. You have to hate the way that you're living to allow that kind of disrespect, to not stand on business as a man and call it how you see it, to live in fear by threats. I'm going to expose you. Hey, CS2 Back. Tell him you got the tape. You releasing the tape. Got so many females on Clubhouse busting it open, targeting mostly married women so that he could try to blackmail and extort them. A form of control. I mean, it's documented. Surviving WACK100 all throughout YouTube. Even 60-something-year-old women like Mama Lisa. I seen her. She looked like somebody grandmama going to church. And she told a story of him telling her bust it open and confided in her that he was touched and had a sexual relationship with his own auntie growing up. You ain't got to believe me, all that stuff.
But it was really his uncle.
Yeah, he said it was his auntie, but it was really his uncle. You know what I'm saying? But all of those people over there, I know he didn't tell on the Main Street case. Why don't y'all get over it? Why are you? Because this is a consistent problem every single day. And I hope that those that call themselves and still live that street life, so-called street life, that's been around them, I hope you get exactly what the fuck you was looking for. Don't send us no letters asking for cash apps or green dots or put some money on your books. Tell that bitch ass nigga, rat ass nigga to do it after he sell your ass down the motherfucking road. All of those who protected this man, gave this man a place of solace, support through all of his wrongs. The way he wronged my big homie Messi Moore, disrespecting his father. The way he wronged me, my father, calling me a rat, calling me a homosexual or trainee lover, saying I'm in witness protection program because I moved to Madison, Wisconsin. How come I didn't move to Madison, Wisconsin? Because I found a beautiful Latina, my hot tamale, right? Who's a successful businesswoman. And because I've seen what happens to niggas like me that Big U is going through right now. Why couldn't I just desire more? Why did I have to be in witness protection to move to Vegas or Madison, Wisconsin, New York, or somewhere else to try something new, to give myself a chance outside of an environment that I understand a lot of people still would want to target me? I go to LA, I check on my family, check on some of my old friends, maybe every 3-4 months, right? More than that, as money permits and work permits. What about all of the other people that this dude threatened? Talking about He seen my dad and this and this and this and that at a liquor store. My dad don't hang in no fucking liquor store. All of the people he threatened, and y'all gave this man solace. Now he's playing victim, witness, playing victim. And he is the reason the government is arguing Big U bail should be denied. And you know what? That judge today said, yeah, that's a good reason why Big U should be held in jail, detained until further notice. I'm going to land right there, man. I want to see what y'all talking about in this chat.
Free Big U. Free Big U.
Thanks.
So, yeah, they've been going crazy in the chat. I'm so far behind. Let's go. So let's see what they talking about. Selena, thanks for reading and thanks for sharing your story. Prayers high for you and your family.
Thank you.
I'm going to call back, of course, Alice. They never going to cut the Pentagon spending. Facts. We can file a class action against the Department of Justice. Innocent until proven guilty. No, we can fundraise, get about $2 million. Maybe Trump would get them out. You know, that's all he was taking to get them. What he do for Lil Wayne and then what they call where they pardon. Yeah, where
Yeah,
they
he called the
pardon.
records.
Yeah. So I think it was like two tickets. Hey, Draws, if we go for it, don't even trip. We might be there by the end of the year. You know what I'm saying? Innocent until proven guilty. Thank you, KG. Keyshawn, salute. Oh, I don't know. Do y'all know what that sign mean right there? 6-track star.
It's a heart. I don't
At
even
least,
know. It's like eyes or something.
yeah, I don't know either, but at least it ain't. Brother Deuce, tell it, salute. Hey, man, I ain't got no choice but to do it. They going to either lock me up or knock me down. But until then, until I can't, they can't shut me up. Selena, I'm going to go back on the replay later to catch up. But whatever it is, you're in my prayers, niece.
Thank you.
Uncle Jerome. Bing Bong said, Big U innocent. He is innocent until proven guilty. The feds will let him run free, but look, he might have his handler blind, but there's others that don't have to abide by the rules of his handler. They can arrest him. Guilty of trusting the government's lies about wanting to help, maybe. Maybe. Lil Doodles in the chat. Lil Doodles, what up? I see somebody, Mike B saying salute to you. Let's get those likes to 250 or catch DP for me and all the mods. You know what I'm saying? That grand jury process got to go too. From when there was a king that couldn't tarnish a regular person's image, that no longer applies. It's just the government swinging an axe. Yeah. We definitely need reform. We need to reform the judicial justice system in this country. I have 3 in my state, and it took all 3 bail hearings to finally get it. $75K from $500,000. Yeah, Bert, that's what I was saying. This ain't the end all be all on the bail hearing. You know what I'm saying? He's definitely gonna be. Go ahead.
How many times can he go for bail? Because I know like the Diddy case, he was only allowed to do I think 3 requests. How many can Biggie go for?
I don't know. It might be subjective by the courts or the state or feds might have a difference. You know what I'm saying? Loop for the loop. What's good, nephew? Tartan Mystic. KG, I've always found it strange that crown is used over your way in court. The corporate world outs itself regularly. We just need the majority to start seeing it. Yeah, United States of America, Inc. It's a corporate and corporations and corporate worlds are running this country. Why you think we got billionaires surrounding everybody in the thing? Yo, hitting the like button is like ringing the doorbell. Ding dong. grip. Yeah, like when you get to the door, you hit it. When the prosecutor works with the judge and police, make a nigga go crazy. That's the brotherhood. WACK, you're in the same category as Loose Cannon's daddy. Sammy the Bull. Look, if Big U is tampering with the jury pool, then WACK is public interest and safety, the community. Well, the government is tampering with the witness pool. Remember, they said that his DNA, they allowed their witness. Remember, he's a witness. They allowed the witness to say and taint the jury pool by saying that Big U's DNA was found under the nails of the body that they found in Las Vegas. If that ain't tainting the jury pool, I don't know what the fuck tainting the jury pool is. And that's one of your witnesses. You were good with that, but now here a man declares his innocence and making sense of it and publicly, and now he's tainting the jury pool. What's wrong with last year's equipment? Does it really break that fast? I don't know. I'm just asking. Break. No, well, break is spelled B-R-E-A-K, brother. But it's all right, Johnny G. We're going to get you right up over here. I love that you got that red and blue in your thing also. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason. But no, we were given a hypothetical situation, brother, to how, which kind of explains the allegations where they're talking about misappropriation of funds. You know what I'm saying? If the nonprofit don't got the right when we need it, Big U was the type that goes through his pockets and breaks himself for them kids. So if I was Big U in this situation, and Selena was gonna give us some money, and Yael is my partner at the charity, and he put up $5,000 to add to the $5,000 that was already in the thing when we needed $25,000. So I put 15, and then once we got the kids and their stuff, it was cool, and the money Selena and her company had promised to donate came at a later date, and it was Peter pay Paul type situation. So the kids were actually never defrauded, or the money you sent to use them was never defrauded. It's easily explained like that. Salute to the panel. Peace to the tribes of North America. Salute. Peace to the tribes of North America. What does it matter, Johnny? What kid doesn't like or deserve new equipment? I think this a picture he painting, let him work. Yeah, well, Big U will stay there because he's a threat to the community's safety. But WACK had gone there and said, he threatened me. Yeah, well, he said a whole lot more than that. In trial, we gonna figure it out. It's gonna all come out in trial. This is gonna be like the trial of the century. I'm just saying, let's get the money where it really needs to go. This is why watching the Thug trial, this may end up the same with Big U only doing a little time. Taking it to trial would be the best thing he could do. Yeah. And his lawyers need to start preparing for that now and fighting it so that it won't be a circus the way that Atlanta allowed it. That state Rico trial in a state court is going to be totally different from how the feds run their program. It's easy for the feds to throw a Rico jacket on someone who is trying to right the wrongs of his past. Yeah, you see how far back they were going into his criminal history? Justin Brown said their case is really speculation, bro. # free Big U. Hey, salute to you, brother. Really appreciate that comment, man. You know what I'm saying? Prayers to the Henley family. Y'all already know our blessings and peace is sent to all of y'all. WACK, your covers are going to get pulled. Either you're a CR or you just become a witness or victim. Oh, but even if he's the victim or witness, when he get on the stand, we're going to be able to ask him about all of the things he's been lying about. The Texas case, how long he been working. How many times did he go debrief with Greg Caton and Darren Dupree? We could ask him about the shooting case. where his homeboys were arrested for a body, and they utilized his Escalade. And the only way he was going to be able to get the car was to tell him, and he gave up Pooh Rada name as his driver, saying I wasn't there, but my driver who drives the car is Pooh Rada, right? We're going to be able to ask him about a whole bunch of things and subpoena a lot of records. What did you say to them about Biggie Smalls' murder? You know, I told him it was Poochie. Why the fuck is this clown got a mask on? Is he not educated that a mask won't prevent anything? A mask won't prevent anything? Well, let me see something. The homie Psycho. Let me see something. We're gonna see who's really educated. Let's see. Will face mask help prevent catching disease or spreading bacteria? Let's see how smart you is. Let's see how smart you is. See, one thing for sure, two things for certain. In the age of information and technology, you still have dodos that just want to be heard. You know what I'm saying? You got clout chasers that want to be heard, right? So generally, masks can help act as a filter to reduce the number of germs you breathe in or out. Their effectiveness can vary against different viruses, for example, based on the size of the virus. When worn by a person who has a virus, masks can reduce the chances they spread it to others. You get that? Do you get that? I thought that it won't prevent anything. Dodo. You know what I'm saying? Clown. Baboso. Payaso. You know what I'm saying? Hey, not only is you a baboso, you's a dumb baboso. You know what I'm saying? Talking about some it don't help nothing. It does help. And I'm sick. If you were paying attention, Selena came up here and did us a favor and read the stuff because I got a real bad sore throat, meaning that it's contagious. So this could help Maria from recapturing what she passed to me by not wearing a mask. But thanks again for your support. Hit that like button. The homie Psycho. The homie Psycho.
Is he Hispanic? How sad. It's
On the picture it is, but that doesn't mean that's who he really is.
Baboso pendejo. That's for him.
Squabbling Jerome, good point. I got hit while driving before. Hey, King Crave, you sound like a sexual predator, buddy. If you get off on public sick, I'm quite sure that's good, but jump in somebody DM if you interested in a girl or something. Everybody ain't interested in your sexual escapades, brother. Pause. You know what I'm saying? Pause. Let's get these likes up also. Frank M. Holler, salute. You know what I'm saying? But this is basically what we've been on. Salute, Tar Mystic. Oh, yeah, I'm going to call y'all back down there, Preston. I want to test that jaw too, Cash. Lou from the Lou said, I want to test that jaw. Inglewood Legend, salute. You know what I'm saying? You're like, damn. That's a disrespectful ass rap. Twist by Meeks. Peace and blessings to everyone. It's like we can't even do a good deed out here in the world anymore. People will attack you just for that. I feel for Big U. Yeah. I'm going to call y'all back. Told y'all what's what. Knowledge. How you working and still broke? I'm glad Kim went her way. She one of the smartest women in America. She got the fuck away from that rat. You know what I'm saying? That'll be the two-step with us back to back. Witness victim. Pookaroo ain't letting that go. Witness victim. Being working. Being working. Hey, yeah, we need to do a song. Being working. Despicable is motherfucking right. Sold out, showing they panties on the internet like hoes. 100 stand for nothing. You're quick with that wrench. I'm a deuce. It's early today. Yeah, because I'm finna take some pills. and call it a night. I just want to get through this, what you call it, and interact with the peoples. Touched by an uncle coming to Tubi this fall. Pimp C said the hip hop police was coming into rap industry. Yeah, I am tired. All right. CW back now. Confidential witness. Well, I don't know if he confidential no more. He's gonna have all them other cases he's been able to hide behind it. This one, he's gonna have to testify. We're gonna subpoena him to testify. We are the indigenous people, but go ahead, you still cooking. Who said we wasn't? JD? See, y'all be listening to argue and not listening. We indigenous to the planet Earth, the first Homo sapiens sapiens. You melanated celestial beings, King. You know what I'm saying? Who said that we wasn't indigenous here? Don't be looking for a fight for me, brother. I understand my position up under the sun, moon, and star. You know what I'm saying? He be talking about himself. I'm going to say back to back over here, talking about being in a battle together. Back to back means solid pals in it together over here. Mike B, peace and blessings to you, Nine. CW2 back. Damn. Oh yeah, this is gonna go viral. Hit that like button. Let's make sure this go viral. Fam West TV2, that part, dudes. Block boy ENT, innocent until proven guilty, but y'all act like y'all know that man every move. Didn't I say I don't know what he guilty about? I said everybody innocent until proven guilty. I don't know. I never met the gang banging Big U. When I met, he has separated himself from a lot of rolling 60s who was hating on him because he was getting millions of dollars through the streams. He was focused on his businesses, working with the kids. That's the Big U I met. So I don't know, and you never let your left hand know what your right hand contemplate anyway. When you from the streets, I don't know. Maybe Block Boy ENT, you ain't from the street. I don't know his every move. You know what I'm saying? But I do know that when he trying to get with some soft legs or something, he cut that phone off. That's what I do know. You know what I'm saying? But no, we talked extensively, and y'all gonna be able to hear a lot of it. We got the content because we have group chats regularly, almost every morning for the last year and a half. Sometime we might go 3-4 days without a big group chat, or maybe we'll have group chats and he wouldn't be on it. But we always had different conversations, debates, situations specifically about our communities and positivity. And that's what we're going to be able to bring y'all once we get the audio from these wiretaps. Real shit, though, you have to go or the streets will get a motherfucker. Yeah. So keep Big U and protect WACK. Yeah, right. One way or the other, it's a carnivore. Let's hit that like button. Yeah, I'm a winner, right? An overachiever, right? So I'm playing chess and I'm positioning myself to win, right? And I understand that as long as you're on the field, at any time you could get put on injured reserve. And I know what that field entails out there. Injured reserve, put in jail. Injured reserve, get chipped. Injured reserve, get paralyzed. But when my money calls, right now, if they book me for $3,500, I'm popping out. I'll pop out at that nigga's studio, nigga. 7-8, whatever the address, Beck Avenue, nigga. Right now, 3,500. I'm gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go get my bag, sipping wine, listening. Thank you, beautiful black lady. Sister Belina, we with you. Yeah. What happened to Selena? Selena right there. Deuce always on point with his sermon. Well, yeah, even though I'm messed up, man, and I'm seeing it starting to heat up already. I just shared Bubba's story. Okay, boom. Let's see. Free Big U. Oop, I'm so far behind. Y'all behind. I'm behind Steffi Weffy. Hold on. Let me see that. Okay. You know what I'm saying? America definitely a business. Yeah. Alex Mack, free Big U, arrest CS2 back. Now I don't want him arrested. I told y'all I ain't gonna feel good unless I bump into him and able to boo bop his bitch ass. We're the Crip LLC at this point. Isn't that what they are for? To fight the good fight for the Crips and Bloods? Man, that lady got her own that registered that. She talked to me, talked about she wanted me to be the blood on the Crip LLC and the ideas. She didn't have no ideas. She was biased against a lot of people. And she came off initially so sweet, made me think it's like somebody's auntie in the hood that just was a caretaker to the hood. Man, we got that lady on the phone. Hey, that's gonna be on the wiretaps on the set. That's gonna be on the wiretaps. Y'all gonna be able to hear us talking about the lady. I introduced her to Big U, right? And she was, oh my God, I'm suing you and this and that. You had the chance to talk to me. So why the fuck would I want to talk? I'm like, damn, where that came? He was just so sweet. Then we put her on the phone with Alex Alonso. I don't like you. Like, you don't like me. Didn't you go to this school? Yeah. Yeah, so I know you. I know what like, I never met you. Where do you know me from? I ain't gonna speak on it, but yeah. I'm like, oh, this lady is crazy. There's no limit on how many times you can request bonds. Okay, thanks for the information, Big T. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, I'm telling y'all, CS2 Informant 100, paperwork, the signature, and the eye. There is no limit on how many times you can request a bail here, but it depends on new evidence in the case. Yael, you want to say something? Big U's America's Most Wanted. From CS2 to witness, shaking my MF head. Something never changed. Y'all, you got anything to say? So he was denied today. Is it possible that he would ever get by? Yeah, it's possible. Selena's gonna get me in trouble with that red hair, G. I gotta stop watching and just listen. Hey, John G, you's a real pervert, brother. You see some red hair, and now you talk about you can't even look no more. All right, Ricky. Charles, don't do that. Blood, I'ma reach down in my purse. You never know what I got in there. That's what I was thinking from the gate, how to fight back the DA's motion. Yeah, well, his lawyers is going to fight. It's a long fight, man. And he's fighting against, they debriefed it to a book and mini series. CS2 Informant 100, Johnny G. I remember CS2 back said he wrote a book when he was in jail called Infiltration, right? I wonder if he's putting together the script right now to talk about how he is the official Donnie Brasco in hip hop. This might be what all of this is about. Infiltration. If WACK gets on the stand, they're going to destroy him like they did with the Keefe D case. He took the stand on, and that lawyer exposed his fake dealing. You right. They said he told a morass of false lies. He defrauded him and the bail bondsman, defrauded some paperwork. They could, oh man, that was, yeah, he don't do too good on the stand. Yeah, but he got to get on that stand. Ask WACK about being an ex-felon and carrying a firearm. Man, how I'm going to ask WACK anything? You don't understand that CS2 back been running for me since he blocked me about 2.5 years ago? Deuce, you and I have both been to the Fed, allegedly. It's hard to get discovery out there from the inside. Nah, hell no. To get discovery out there from the inside. Hell no, nigga. Bro, I got locked up February 22nd, 2002. By March 16th, my sister's birthday, we had to work on the juvenile, unindicted juvenile co-conspirator already in the pen. Nigga, already in the pen. Niggas already knew who was telling, knew who it was. He getting rushed in juvenile hall. He made it to the LA County, lost his fitness, tried him as an adult in the juvenile module. The homies blast that nigga up. Nigga, we was able to get it out there quick. Big U said he was going to break CS2 back's jaw. Big U said, I'll take that charge. Yeah. Yeah, he did say that. That's exactly who they're trying to protect. What they say, the witness on Paru, it can help. Wonder if Wax been promised the 900 grand he owes in litigation will be white for cooperating it. No. This is the big bang. After this, he's going to Europe or Africa or some. This is his last hurrah. It's out. Damn, dudes had to take Fulio to Schoolio. Yeah, you know. That's what I do. I try to keep it respectful, though. You know what I'm saying? Some people just come trolling and they want to get a rise up out of another man, which is really, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Witsec Mafia, good book. Wakashi 99 cents adding to it. Coming out with the encyclopedia on under the covers CI work. Bird is crazy. On Paru, I bet Selena could cook a mean Spanish dish.
I can.
But that was CS2 Informant 100.
I know. It's weird.
Yeah. Hey, KG said
He'll never know.
Right. She said you'll never know.
They'll never know.
If a mask doesn't work, why does the doctor wear one? Yeah, he learned. I'm sure he learned something here today. Kids grow, they do not stay the same size they was last year, bro. You have kids, they the exact same size that they was last year. That's why they get new equipment, plus it breaks. Hey, thanks for answering that question to Johnny G, Mike B. You know what I'm saying? Selena, oh my God. Tank TV, salute, bro. We're going up, big bro. We definitely going up, man. J-Boy TV, hashtag free Big U. Can we get that in the chat, man, please? Free Big U. You know what I'm saying? We definitely want the brother out here. Wack is a panocha with cheese. Ricky! I see they did their homework and went and got them a school record. And Selena, that's a cold handle right there, CS2. Selena, after Deuce exposed me, will you go with me to the witness protection program in Montana? That's CS2 Informant 100.
That's a no.
GI, remember when Wack bragged about giving Big U money? Brick Baby told Wack draws was bleeding your whole ass. Hell no. Wack's theme song, Can I Get a Witness? That nigga, can I get a witness? Face mask definitely minimizes the risk of spreading virus and bacteria. Thank you, IE Streams, for having common sense and for speaking on it, man. We just gonna help the brother. You know what I'm saying? He thought we was dumb, but I guess maybe he just ain't the brightest fuse in the box. He ain't the sharpest crayon in the box. Let me see. Keep a couple sandwiches short of a picnic. Keep it G News. Yo, what up? Keep it G News. You know what I'm saying? Tough Stino. Anybody think we not aboriginal to North America is working with the government? Hey, if they gonna troll, at least be funny. Yeah, they do gotta be funny if you gonna troll. Touched by Uncle would be way better than Touched by an Angel. Oh, they on it right now. That's nasty work. They just don't want to see them come up. Tough Stino. Why you report me 5 times last month? I don't even know you. Who is Tough Stino? Hey, Tough Stino, you reporting people, get them up out of here. You don't be over here reporting our people. No BS, Steffi. It's ironic. Soon as Big U stop fucking with CS2, all of a sudden the feds interested in him. Selena, I don't like rat CS2 informant. Touched by Uncle is a crazy Lifetime movie. No, I think that motherfucker should be on Pornhub, nigga. Nigga, the story of CS2 back, nigga. Touched by Uncle on Pornhub, nigga. You know what I'm saying? So that everybody understand the trauma and why he act like this publicly. CS2Back is a reliable source for the internet. Fucking weirdo. I gotta go, y'all. Hey, salute, Bird. Selena on Paru, I'll protect you. What happened at the bond hearing? Mogul Giant, they denied Big U at the bond hearing. Anybody remember the movie Ben? Nah. Touched by a Merman. DJ Dream, free the real, fuck the fake. Hashtag snitch K. Salute to you, DJ Dream, man. We really appreciate that. Hey, DJ Dream, you never hollered at me. We trying to get you this single. You know what I'm saying? This DJ pack, Yael, Sections. Then we got the TD Criticality single. We got a couple singles for them, and we got the Pop LQ single. You need to get that in rotation, my man. Help break them records. I think that what you call it's already in rotation. Yael just got suspended. Deuce, you exposing me now. Selena don't want me. Chill out. Hey, look, I exposed you a long time ago. This shit don't count. It only piles on Paru. You got some fine minds in here. I was shredding old documents from 2008, and I found CS2Back's name in my traffic violation paperwork. Oh, man, this is crazy. Big U's out on bail. Just looked it up. Drakeo know the truth. You think you gonna know the truth about Big U being out on bail before I do? I mean, honestly. You really believe that? If you say that them niggas gonna move to Africa tonight, nigga, not tomorrow. Why the judge deny him? I don't know. I didn't get all of the details. I'm sure they're gonna let me know. Don't do me like that, folks. Damn, a perv. Never heard that about me. I guess I got exposed then. Hey, John G, listen. Being perverted ain't bad, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's a time and a place for everything, brother. You know what I'm saying? Let me change that word, because perv is a little bit of a stretch, right? Let me change that word. Let's just say you's a horn dog. You know what I'm saying? You see some red hair and you turn into a horn dog. You know what I'm saying? She was on WACK Live. On Paru, I want to take Selena and I'm going to call me back with me in the witness protection program. Hook me up, dudes. IBM Hoodlum said that he knows for a fact that WACK and no one from his crew going to get arrested for that no jumper beatdown. What about the stolen watch? Yeah, it was a robbery also. Yeah, you're right. Lioness, allegedly. Legend. Was Bracken, Duke Sim? Much love and respect from Inglewood, FHN, F's, B team. Hey, Lioness, legends too. Salute to Inglewood, F's to death. You already know what it is, man. Salute, Big B team. Big U need the lawyer Carmelo Anthony have down here in Texas to get his bail hearing reduced. Ask me, I'm in the chat. He said, ask me, I'm in the chat. WACK can stop his war stories now. It's a wrap. Yeah, well, he ain't gonna stop the war stories. He only lives on the internet. He has no life. He can't go nowhere. I was talking about asking WACK that on the stand. See, oh yeah, on the stand. Yeah, you're right, Alex Matt. CS2 informant, I'm too hood for witness protection. Selena on Paru, I got you up there blushing. Don't fight our YouTube connection.
No. Oh, no.
V-Dog, I got arrested February 26, 1993, bank robbery. Y'all see I got her blushing, right?
No.
With victim, Pookaroo, everybody on this. Hashtag witness, hashtag victims, hashtag CS2Back, hashtag WACK100. Let me put that in the chat too, man. Witness, hashtag victim, hashtag WACK100, hashtag CS2Back. That's a nasty word. Damn, he's been branded 100 EBT. Now, wonder no jumper did a strategic alliance with him. No rebuttal from that side. The truth is the truth. They're going to him on Jay Prince's neck. Nah, I think this is it, bro. His cover blown. I've been saying the new Netflix movie is called The Orchestrator and the Orchestrator and the Debriefer. Free Big U, Steffi Weffy. My cheeks are always, you got no special anything. CS2 informant. Tart Mystic, free Big U, free every innocent jail for an agenda. That's what I said. Whack after this, he's going to leave the country because he's going to be scared. He's already scared and he knows that it's coming for him. Y'all bugging. I ain't reporting nobody. Whack, train to go, Tattletale gang. Oh, no, it ain't train to go. Whack, TTG, Tattletale gang. I thought, where I come from, TTG is train to go. Matter of fact, speaking of train to go, it's almost time to go. Yael, can you let them know where they at?